We're getting later and later. I do apologise. And I do apologise for the way I look. Before we go any further, Emily. Miller, how are you doing? You okay, sir?
Yeah, you?
I've had a mole removed. 2 moles removed. Not very pleasant. I was going to tell you I joined in training this week. Rattled a few.
Right, Emily, whenever you're ready, we'll do Facebook Live, then we'll do the broadcast, and we'll do Brighton.
First of all, a very good morning.
Morning.
We start off with the news this week that Jonathan Codger's injury is unfortunately a lot more serious than first feared.
Yeah.
Shame for him given the season he's had for you.
Well, it's not just the season he's had. I sometimes now regret going to win his appeal after what's happened last weekend. He's got a fracture of his fibula, which was operated on yesterday in Belgium. We're as devastated as not just for him but for all of us, because obviously the summer plans were always with Codger available for next year, considering the year he's had. So they're saying and telling us that 3 to 4 months, which probably means the best part of 6 months. It's difficult, but that's what football is. Unfortunately, you suffer injuries, and we've been dealt a harsh blow. So we wish him a speedy recovery.
Well, you were clearly very disappointed when we spoke to you after the game at Ewood Park last weekend.
Yeah.
What's been your main focus?
Well, if I'm being brutally honest, away from home, we've been nothing short of pathetic, and that's an awful word. But when I analyse it, away from home, 4 times we've won. And last week at Blackburn was another typical example away from home where we don't take part in the game, in all aspects of the game. So make no mistake, we have to improve. We have to improve, certainly going forward. Our home form is stacked up a little bit over the last 5-6 months, but away from home, there's that awful side to us where we don't find enough resilience. We don't do enough away from home to win a game. And if we're going to be successful, then we have to improve, certainly, in that aspect of the game.
Of course, there's another game this weekend and a chance to sign up in front of your home supporters who have backed you.
Well, the supporters, I have to say, have been nothing short of miraculous, really. 8,500 last week, and we never kicked the ball for them. So the supporters are playing their part. They've been nothing short of terrific since I've walked through the doors here. With that support becomes a huge expectation, and we have to be able to learn how to deal with it. Otherwise, then we're going to have these struggles. So a nice way to finish off, Brighton are coming here to win the league, so they'll want to come and turn us over. And of course, we've got to do our utmost to repair what we did last week. As I've said, our home form has stacked up. You know, we've been okay at home, but away from home. So a nice way to finish, and that'll be a good yardstick. Brighton have now, and fair play to Chris and all his staff and his players. They've shown a resilience. They've shown a unity together. You know, they've got 1 or 2 outstanding individuals, but they're a team, and a team ethic has arguably won the league.
Let's go back to some of your younger players, because of course you've used them as part of the squad throughout the season. I know 1 or 2 of them have been carrying injuries in recent weeks. Is there any chance of placing?
Yeah, well, that would be an ideal time, but Greeny's been injured, Hepburn Murphy's been injured, and I've not been able to really get them the game time. In fact, with Hepburn Murphy and Greeny now, we've just said, look, when they need complete rest, they've both had hamstrings. We have spoken with the people in England, because there's tournaments in this summer. Both of them have got hamstrings which are reoccurring. For a young player, that's not great. So the 2 of them will be doing nothing this summer, and of course pre-season for them in particular will be excellent, hopefully good for them, because they've made big impacts this year, and pre-season could be a way through for them.
I know you've already been asked a lot about the summer and your particular plans for that, but how far along with you where you want to be at this moment?
Well, Emily, we've still got a lot of work to be done. We only need reminded of the performance last week. That happens too often. So yes, we've got a busy summer, of course. As I've said many times, we've still got a big clear up to do. We've got 8 or 9 players out at least on loan. Their futures have to be resolved. We have to find a pathway and clear that up one way or the other. So I'm expecting a busy summer, and the phone has already started to ring. We'll sit down next week with the bosses and plan a strategy of what we're going to do. We've got bits and pieces in place, and try and make sure that we have a very decent summer.
You've touched on this already, but of course it's title chasing Brighton that arrived here this weekend. What do they have, in your opinion, that makes them so consistent? Because they've done well for
They were very unfortunate last year. If you look at them, when Chris took over, they were in the bottom 3 years ago. He stabilised them, and then I have to say their recruitment has been very, very good. They have 2 or 3 individuals who probably would get in any team in the Championship, in Knockhart, Dunk, the boy Murray up front, the goalkeeper Stockdale. But more than that, they're a team who've played together. Stevens is another one, the midfield player. They've got a unity and play as a team with that little bit of quality in the final third, with Knockhart particularly and Murray. But they're a very, very resilient, perfectly well organised, as you expect from Chris. And they've proved to be a very good team over the last 2 years. Unlucky last year, and gone on to strive and do better things this year. So fair play to them. We're all green with envy and jealous. But congratulations to them.
And just finally, can I check on your injury situation?
I'm not very good at the moment, as you can see. Alan Hutton will miss tomorrow's game. He's got 2 broken ribs, so he'll not play. Mile Jednak is not recovered from his groin. He'll not play. Gabby went over his ankle yesterday, and he won't play. So we've got 3 or 4 missing, but an opportunity for the others.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve, in terms of things to address over the summer, is that a way forward? Top amongst your list of priorities?
Well, I can't do anything in the summer apart from obviously key personnel. But certainly away from home, we've not been anywhere near good enough. If you look at results and statistics, mainly results. 4 times we won away from home. That ain't good enough to mount a challenge. So it's something we have to address, yeah.
Is it a psychological thing? Is it a downside of having such a fortress at home?
Well, for me, it's quite easy. It's a mentality. You're okay at home, but you're not okay away from home is mentality. We've got to find that same mentality of what we found at home, away from home, and be able to perform. And we simply haven't done that. That's been our downfall, really, and that's why we're mid-table in the Championship. Disappointing, and something we have to address.
How do you look back on the season? I know this is a game to go, but I've seen months from there. Has it been tougher than you expected when you took this job?
Look, I've been privileged to give one of the great jobs. It's a really, really, as I've said many times now, a great job to have. Yes, of course it was tough, and I knew it was going to be tough. There's been 6 managers before me here in 2 years, so you knew there was some sort of stability was needed. And of course, with the transfer windows the way they are, you can only do your business in summer and in January. And that takes time, because in the past, especially in the Championship, you could go and loan a player, for example. Fortunately, you can't do that. So it does take time. It will take time, but I'm quietly confident I'll be given the time for how long it takes to get it right.
Just lastly, the Aaron Lennon story this week. I guess you've come across him a few times. What have you made of that?
Well,
Pleased by the reaction?
Well, I'm not. I'm pleased that he's seeking help, of course. And mental issues happens to footballers too, just like it happens to lots and lots of people in any walk of life. So we do wish him a speedy recovery. It's not often you hear about a professional footballer anyway, and them sort of. But I'm sure it's like any other disease or illness. You know, it has no boundaries. No matter who you are, mental health issues are tough to deal with. So we wish him a speedy recovery.
Steve, one game to go. It's a game that can affect the title. Does this provide extra motivation for you to perform well?
Well, I'm a Geordie at the end of the day. My Newcastle roots are still there. My mum and dad and my family all in Newcastle. So they'll be wanting me to do well for obvious reasons. For us, we've got to now, at home, repair some of the damage we did again last week. We took 8,000 last week and never kicked a ball. So we have to go and be professional about it because we know they're going to be right up for it. So great game to finish the end of the season with something on it. And I just wished that the roles were reversed, that we were the team going to try and beat Brighton to win the league. It'd be a big game for them, and of course, always is for us.
And obviously, as you say, there's disappointment to say you're not going for promotion, but is there a particular highlight of the season in terms of a game you've enjoyed or perhaps a change that you've affected?
Not really. No, I mean, I can't see there being a highlight. Of course, we've had some decent results, at home especially. I can't really, because at the end of the day, you know, this is the worst ever finish I've had in 20 odd years. You know, it's difficult because you know, we haven't done enough. I thought that would be in and around, or trying to be in and around the playoffs, and that's where we've got to be. That's where we've got to aspire to. So, at the moment, I'll be disappointed rather than anything I've looked back on. I've enjoyed the challenge. I'm very, very privileged to have the job I've got. And I'll do my power to try and turn it around.
And one final question. In what areas do you think you particularly need to strengthen, and have you got any targets in mind?
I've got plenty of targets. Whether we're not going to get them, I don't know. I think we need to strengthen in all areas. We need to strengthen and have a certain mentality about us, a better mentality that can win 4 games away from home, more than 4 games away from home. When you look at Brighton and Newcastle, they've won 14 and 15 away from home. So we've got a lot to make up. That's certainly where we can improve. Thank you.